Shoot, you can't throw the middle finger flick in there with
you can
on the table.
I might be able
I can't.
to do it.
I don't have dexterity to flip it normal.
No, you can do it. Whatever.
I really can't.
Okay, I'm actually recording now.
Oh, you are? Sorry.
Yeah.
You can erase that.
No, I'm not going to erase that. What are they?
Come on!
They don't expect anything less from us. All right. Well, this is Levon and Brian from the Knife Nuts podcast, and we're trying to test out some video stuff. I'm sure this is going to sound and look like shit, but hopefully the stuff that we're looking at won't.
Yeah, it's just my shit. Who cares if it looks like dog dick?
Right. So we have here is Brian's second production knife. Another variation of the Typhoon. This one called the Evo. And these will be going up for sale on Black Friday. So I wanted to give everyone a really good look at all of the variations. This is what it's come down to, right? It's these three blade shapes and these three frame styles.
I had to kind of limit it to how many I could.
I mean, the other ones weren't as good as these anyway, so. These look the best.
I thought the price difference was going to be bigger between the simpler stuff to this fancier stuff.
Right.
And it's not big enough difference to not make everything fancier.
I understand. So what we have is some familiar Brian Nadeau blade shapes. You have a drop point, you have the Japanese Tanto, and you have an American Tanto. Why he insists on having... There's this fly that's been driving me crazy. He's just in everything.
If you were good, you'd take up one of my knives and slice him.
Slice him? You think I could? Well, it's funny. The little fucker, he landed on the American Tanto earlier, and I was going to smush him, but he moved right out of the way just so I could put a fingerprint right on there. He outsmarted me. So, like I was just saying, we have a drop point.
Shadow. I didn't get that in there. Your shadow kind of sucks over your...
My shadow does suck. It's like the whole thing sucks.
You know, because you need the light.
Where do you
down here.
All right. Well, I'm still going to use this video, so they're going to have to deal with it.
Why do I got to make the shit video?
Watch. Just wait.
What? Because it's so hard to hit stop and then let's start over?
You are a fucking toolbox. I am not going over all this again. They're going to get what they're going to get. And you'll see as soon as when I pick this up and I start showing it, it'll look a lot better. Okay.
So
anyway, just let me get the blade.
I'm paying for this.
Let me get the blade shapes out there, okay? Drop point, Japanese Tanto, American Tanto. One thing that's interesting is that I think you finalized this, right? That both Tantos will feature a hollow grind because Riyadh is the manufacturer and they actually grind these by hand. So it's going to be a really interesting contrast to even the Typhoons that Brian's produced in the past. So I think that's really neat. It gives a little extra something. Now, a defining feature of these, I'm just going to pick up this one because it's my favorite. So you see, Brian, it doesn't look that bad when I pull it up here.
All right.
Do you disagree with me? Fuck you.
I'll agree with you.
All right. All right. So
being such a technologically advanced person, it's kind of shitty, but you know,
yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, we didn't plan on doing this. We didn't plan on doing this at all. So one of the neat things is that there is no hardware showing on the show side, right?
Pivot.
So obviously the pivot, but even the pivot doesn't have a torque set.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, sorry, it's a sore subject. And this is the inlaid frame, and it is probably the nicest inlay I've felt on a production knife in my entire life.
Did a good job on that.
It is insane. There is literally, I mean, if you're really trying, you can sort of feel where it is, but it is on there, and as you can see, there's no hardware holding that in place either, so there's no like one fucking screw, which is really cool. I think we're not supposed to curse on YouTube.
Oh no, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, how the fuck are we supposed to do that? Either way, a lot of people made the mistake of thinking that this was actually an integral, but it is not. It's two pieces. You have the lanyard pin press fit, right? Mm-hmm. And then the only screw holding this part together is actually the screw on the pocket clip, correct?
Correct. So that screw goes through the pocket clip, through the one side frame, and then screws into the show side
area
frame.
Here, right? That's pretty cool. And then obviously the only other hardware you see here is honestly the amazing machining up around the lock bar, that screw. I love that, where it's raised just a little bit.
So always a debate, do I just put a regular screw there?
No, it looks so nice. It's flush. It's really cool. The little details are what get you. And then you have some more Nadeau like pivot decoration and that raised area around that pivot. It's really, really nice. It's a pretty slim knife. I have calipers, but I didn't bring them. Do you remember any of the measurements? I would not be surprised if you could just spout them off.
No, I don't.
Fuck that then.
The 3.75 inch blade.
Yeah, so this is, you know, the original Typhoon was a 4-inch blade. You did the mini, which was 3.5, the micro, which was 3, and this one, you know, smack dab in the middle there at 3.75. And honestly, it's kind of the perfect knife.
I think so. I think
it really just melts in your hand. You can do anything you want to do with this knife. The drop point is a full flat, which in my opinion is how it should be. You haven't done a full flat grind before. So this is the first time you've done that. And it gets, I mean, again, I don't have calipers, but it gets pretty damn thin behind that edge. And even on these prototypes, they're very sharp. They're all going to be M390, right?
Correct.
M390. You're not doing Damasteel ones?
I debated. I don't think this time around.
I don't think it's worth it. I mean, I think it'll look good. See how they go, and you can always make that decision, I suppose. They all have a fuller, they all have a swedge, and they all have what do you call that? Some hole, an aspiration in the blade itself. So the blades are really done up to the nines. There were plans and talks of doing. You even had some prototypes made with just fullers and no fullers, but they ended up looking kind of unfinished, in my opinion.
When you look at them next to the ones with the fuller and the aspiration, yes.
Here's what the Japanese Tanto looks like. Again, these have that hollow grind, so you don't really see that on any of his knives in the past. And these also all feature the integral detent shoe.
Correct.
So they have that characteristic sound and snap. I mean, honestly, these feel better than, I mean, aside from like the dagger and the chicane, I think these feel the nicest of any of the ones that you put together.
The minis are snappy.
Yeah, the minis are pretty snappy. I don't know.
But that's just a smoother closing. Than
I think
I tend to have my lock bars a little heavier.
You do tend to throw in the lock bar tension. These are just a little more consistent because they're made by smaller hands.
Little children hands.
We're going to hell. But this is the aspirated frame, which I think you've done like frames with holes in the past, but this style I think started on the Hurricane, right?
Well, that one's even different from the Hurricane if you look at it. Each one is a little different. It's hard to come up with something different that somebody else hasn't done.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I was going with that. And at the same time, looks similar to what I did before.
Something distinctive. Yeah.
They were always very popular, so I continued it with these.
One thing I really like, you finally crossed the bridge and started doing 3D pocket clips.
Because I finally was able to
figure out a design that you liked. So this is
how I can machine them to where I like.
I mean, this is the first sub $1,000 Nadeau with a 3D pocket clip. Wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's cool. And they work phenomenally. I've been carrying them. Yeah, he's probably not happy about that, but I've had a couple of the prototypes in my possession for a few days, and they have not left my pockets. So we have the flipper tab that is controversial. People don't like your flipper tab.
Yeah, well, you either don't like it or you do.
I don't know.
It's like an HK handgun. You either like where the mag release is or you don't.
That makes sense.
If you like it, you're very happy with it. If you don't, you can kiss my ass.
I think it works really good because it's an actual full guard.
Well, that's what it's, you know.
And it's shaped like a guard. It's not shaped like a flipper tab.
It's doing double duty, so you have to make compromises, and one of the compromises is a big tab.
So there you go. That's the Japanese Tanto. I think that's going to be a popular one, personally. And then you have the evil-looking American Tanto with the machined, the pattern scales, which could be a sleeper hit. I mean, they really did some fine machining on this. You drew this thing up pretty intensively, and they met your specifications pretty good.
there are a couple things that they didn't screw up that I would that I'm going to go back and have them change, like
right.
the area in for the lanyard.
Right, you want to open this
tight.
up a little bit.
Like to,
yeah, you can't. What we talked about is like you want to be able to
open the knife up to put it in the way it is now. So.
Yeah, you can't fit 550 cord under and through.
Or maybe, I mean, what's your opinion? I was thinking about nixing the whole thing to begin with, just getting rid of it all.
I mean, personally, you could get rid of it, but I think it also opens up this back part a little bit and gives a little something. Because it would then look a little too thick back here. I'd rather.
Well, I would bring that back. I could bring it back to where you wouldn't see that part.
I see. You would have this come back a little further. I don't know. I kind of like it. You know.
Oh, that one's even a little far.
Yeah, like here's a.
No, that's the same.
Oh shit! Where's my mini? Yeah. Here's a mini Typhoon just to see the difference. So he usually does a backspacer. This one has a lanyard hole. And you know what? It doesn't detract from the design of the thing at all. So I say keep it. You can even make it a little bigger. This is the most, I bet this is the first video someone's seen where they're like actively designing it as we're putting them up for sale. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there it is, size difference with the mini. Pretty cool. I mean, the 3.5 inch, I mean, you can't beat this 3.75. I think they're even a little lighter than the minis.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But I think they are.
Now, what I also am going to have them do is under the clip, they didn't put a smooth spot under the clip.
Yeah. So on the textured ones, they machined, the milling pattern comes up underneath the clip. So on the production run, they'll be smooth underneath, so they're easy to get in and out of your pocket, which I think is a nice feature.
And the last thing that I'm going to have them change is just on the insert. The one side of the inserts is just a little bit sharp.
Just a little, okay.
Have them on that outside.
So we have this
that side,
on this side. So
no,
just
on the. This
oh, here, yeah,
on the edge of
yeah. I've seen that on a lot of prototypes too. I think on the real ones they'll be cleaner anyway, right? Well, either way, this part's a little sharp. We're gonna make that a little bit softer, so it'll be nice. Everything about it feels good. Really nice jimping on the top if you're into that sort of thing. The flipping action is insane. Anyone who got to handle these at the New York show really, really loved them. So these will be going on sale on Black Friday. Is that the plan, Brian?
If I can get my act together, yes.
I think you can. Do you want to tell them what the price is?
For Black Friday, they're going to be $299.99.
$299.99. I think that's the lowest you've ever done. It has to be. It's got to be the most affordable product you've made.
That's the advantage of going overseas.
And I got to tell you, aside from the fact that Brian's my friend, I will tell you that I don't think a better deal exists at $300.
Well, that's going to be only Black Friday. So
you got to pre-order it to get that price. Do you know what the price is going to be after that?
They're going to be $375.
Oh my God. I didn't know that. So that's a crazy deal they're getting. Wow. So $299, a Black Friday only. Hopefully I get this video up before Black Friday.
And part of that is, you know, because when I'm taking orders from, you get to build and you're guaranteed to get the one that you wanted. Mm-hmm. And also your deposit, you know, that's
that's part of the gig.
You know, for getting on early and
that's
letting
your
me
reward.
use your money.
Yep.
I'm giving you a good deal.
That is a damn good deal. That's better than the friend deal.
I have no friends.
That's true. Well, either way, you'll have your choice of frame and blade shape. They'll go up for sale on Black Friday on your website, I assume.
Correct.
For a pre-order price of $299.
And 99 cents.
All right, and 99 cents? $299.99?
99.
Just to get that.
Can you add another?
I can add. Can it be another 99?
Sure.
Okay, so $299.99, $99, $99, $99, $99, $99, $99.